Hello Year 8 and welcome to almost the last lesson on Earth and the atmosphere. And in this lesson you will be completing and submitting your global warming project for me to mark over the coming week. But first, just a warning of what's coming up. Next week you will be having your end of topic test. Now this is going to be an open book test here, so I'm not expecting you to do a lot of revision, but I am expecting you to be familiar enough with the material that you can go and find it quickly. That means if you have been taking notes throughout the last 8-9 weeks, you're going to be fine, because you'll just be able to flick back in your exercise book and find the information you need. If you haven't taken any notes, then you are going to have to wade through about 5 hours of videos to find the information that you need. So hopefully most of you are now thinking, that's great, and not many of you are thinking, I haven't written anything. Second thing, this test is going to be on Google Classroom. It's great that I have 140 of you on there, but that still means that out of your year there's about 15 students who are missing from that classroom. And that means they're not going to get assigned the test and they won't be able to do the test. And that means I'm going to be chasing them up with their head of year. So please, if you're one of those 15 missing students, make sure you get yourself onto Google Classroom. The test is going to be about 45 marks. That's so that there's about 1 mark per minute. Perfectly reasonable if you've got the books open in front of you and you've got all your notes. Most of the test is going to be multiple choice or single word answers, but because it's going to be self-marking, I am not marking 155 tests, and therefore you need to get your spelling right. If the test is looking for the word igneous, it will only mark exactly the correct spelling right. It will not mark anything other than what I tell it is the right answer. And it covers earth structure and rock texture, sedimentary rocks, weathering, erosion, igneous rocks, metamorphic rocks and the rock cycle, history of the Earth's atmosphere, the carbon cycle and the greenhouse effect. And yes, it covers all the stuff you've done on global warming, on climate change, including the causes, the effects and the possible solutions. And these are very roughly the lesson numbers. So certainly causes and effects down to there, that is the lesson number. Right, on to what you're doing this week. So why do we do all of these research projects at the end of each topic? And it's because we are following a syllabus, and this one, Key Stage 3 Science, an approach to teaching the programme of study. And this doesn't just tell us the facts you have to learn, it also tells us the skills that you have to be able to demonstrate as you move through your Key Stage 3. So for example, if I look at this, student C from Group 22, Lily's Lions, how are humans causing global warming? Well, this person is reviewing theories. So 2.15, students need to review theories, describe evidence in supporting theories, explain the role of new evidence in changing theories, and understand the role of a theory in science. So you're looking at the theories of how humans are causing global warming there. This one, 38, Joe's Jaguars, what are the possible consequences of global warming? Very good answer there by Joe Norton. He is examining consequences. So he's looking at what's going to happen, possible consequences to particular habitats, possible consequences to air quality, further afield, considering people, the environment, and maybe even money. So he is fulfilling that. This one, Amber's Army, people A and B, evidence that supports man-made climate change. They are interrogating sources. They are judging the reliability of the source. They're looking for bias. They're looking at the evidence. Do they believe it? The opposite, Brody, so this is Group 34, Brody's band, arguments against man-made global warming and climate change. So here what Brody's group is doing is they're critiquing claims. So they're looking what the claim is, what is being said, what's the evidence, what's the reasoning, is it scientifically accurate, is it relevant, does the reasoning follow logically from the evidence? So that is judging whether or not these arguments against man-made global warming are actually good arguments or are they bad arguments. And as well as that, you are doing these things that you've been doing all along, and you've done in the previous topics. You're presenting data, you're communicating ideas, you're constructing explanations. All of these things are skills that you need to be demonstrating. The one moan I'm going to have is about references. As I went through, it took me ages to find any group who has done anything on reference list. Okay, what I need is a list of references which are not in the template. That is your own research, because you are supposed to be doing your own research and finding your own evidence. What I like about this one is they've sort of said natural causes don't have much influence, and this is where you would find that reference. Most groups have not even started their reference list, and you need to do it. That was part of your work last week. And this is one of the best ones, but you still need a lot more references to explain where all the information is coming from. So ideally, I would love each person to have found about 2 references. So all of you, A, B, C and D, you should all be putting in at least 2 of your own references into that list. Right, so this week, student A, use the information you've collected to decide whether humans are causing global warming or climate change or not. This is up to you, but you've got to explain why you came to your conclusion. So you have got to refer to your evidence that's been collected. So this person needs to go back and read through those pages from last week and actually has to talk about the evidence that was collected to explain why they came to that conclusion. It should be completed by student A, but student A should make sure that all members of the group agree with the conclusion. And if you do not refer to your evidence, you are going to get a 0 for this section. And this person will be drawing conclusions and justifying opinions, 2 more skills that they are exhibiting here. Person B, what can I personally do to slow global warming? What can you do at home? 97% of scientists agree that humans are causing global warming. So whatever you wrote on that previous section, I want you now to assume that humans are causing global warming and climate changes. What changes can you personally make to slow down the effects? You don't need to reference this, but do a bit of your own research and come up with a range of interesting ideas for how you can slow global warming personally. And so here you'll be examining consequences again, and you'll be reviewing theories. People C and D are going to be saying, what can we all do to stop and reverse global warming and climate change? So they're going to be looking at things that governments can do, things that companies can do to stop or even reverse the damage we have caused. Okay, so it's unlikely you as an individual will be able to reverse the damage, but it is possible that governments and companies can reverse the damage. How? What can they do? And because this is a bit more complicated, that's why there's 2 people on here if there are 4 in your group. So how likely are these ideas to work? How much will they affect our lives? And why might people argue against these changes? Okay, again, references are not needed. And this person, or these people again, will be reviewing theories and examining consequences. So this should be shorter. You should have done the majority, the hard work last week. So what do you need to do? Number 1, everybody needs to go and complete the reference list from last week. everyone needs to complete their final section on the project and then go back and check that they have completed the sections from the last 2 weeks. Each person should be responsible for 3 sections. And you need to make sure that you have labelled your work clearly. So here's an example. Isla here has put her name in the circle to say that she has done the bit, how are humans causing global warming. That makes sure that I am going to give you the credit for the work that you have done. And if your name is not on that, I will be chasing up with Miss Hemming why you have not done anything towards your group's presentation. Now this is the really important bit. If you are not a group leader, and when you have finished your bit, just click hand in on Google Classroom. Don't attach a file. Don't submit anything. Just click I've done the work on Google Classroom, okay? Not show my homework. Well, you can do that as well. But I want you to click on Google Classroom that you've done the work. The group leader. If you don't know who your group leader is, you need to assign a group leader, because when everyone else has finished, attach the document, so just add it as a link from your Google Drive to Google Classroom and submit the work. That way I will only have 40 documents rather than 155. It is essential that you don't do that before your group has finished, on account of the fact that when you have submitted that document, it locks it and no one else can edit the document. So do not do that until your group has finished, or Friday at 5 p.m. okay? That's when it's due. If your colleagues have not done their bit by that, just submit it without them, okay? But group leaders, you have the responsibility to make sure everyone's done their bit and then get that submitted. If you've already told me that someone in your group is not doing the work, fine. But otherwise, group leaders, you make sure everyone's done their bit by that time. Finally, and this is for those of you who want to see how I'm going to be grading it. I'm going to be grading it according to this rubric. So for example, what is the natural greenhouse effect? Excellent. Answer is thorough and demonstrates significant effort. Student has clearly researched extra information and presented it carefully. Good. A nicely written answer that faithfully replicates the information given in the lessons. Care has been taken with clarity and presentation. Average 1 point. Student has answered the question succinctly, that means short, using the information provided in the lessons. And poor, answer is missing or incomplete with no obvious care or effort, 0 points. Person B, what are global warming and climate change? And it even says here, you know, what's going on. Guided research and comprehension of key terms. Student has understood the key concepts and has clearly explained the difference between the key terms. Care has been taken with clarity and presentation. Student has explored the difference between global warming and climate change in their own words. Student has described the key terms, but the distinction is unclear or has not been written in their own words, i.e. someone's just copied it straight from the internet. Poor, answer is missing, incomplete, or copied directly with no obvious care or effort, okay? And there's going to be one of those for every section, and when I mark the document, I will be just literally clicking on one of these and assigning the number. So if you want to know how your sections are going to be scored and what you need to do for 3 points or full marks, just go and have a look at the rubric. This is available on Google Classroom. Okay, the week after, of course, it's going to be your end of topic test, and then we're doing something a bit more fun for the next 3 weeks as we wind down. We're doing a murder mystery. Good luck. Email me if there's any problems. See you in a fortnight.